give me a few seconds though while I get everything set up. And I'll explain what the situation's going to be here with this Edith Finch stream. Just 2 seconds now. Shouldn't be too much longer. So, okay guys, so I'm just quickly finishing sharing this up now. Yeah, put the one. I'll let you just jump in. Hi there, one viewer. Very much appreciate you being here. I'll explain the situation shortly. There we go. Just gotta pick up that final one there. Maybe fair, another one view is probably me to be fair, but hey, what you gonna do? So anyway, now we're back. Hi guys. I know I bigged up having a camera and stuff like that for this particular playthrough, but I was playing Rumbleverse earlier on with a friend. I know I was going to stream that as well, but we found out it was duels. three of us wanted to play, so it was kind of like trying to figure out how to make it work. If we ever play it just two of us, I will stream Rumble Bus at some point. But in the meantime, yeah, we are playing Edith Finch. What was Edith Finch? A friend of mine who I was playing with, he basically commented saying, you really shouldn't, like, it's a game that really, it's kind of like, it's better to just kind of take it all in again. And now, something that should be known is, I adore this game. Like, this game is probably in my top games of all time. Probably in my top 10. I love this game with a passion.
Game audio is layered above your voice.
2 seconds. Wait, yeah. Yeah, I've just realised it's, is that better? 2 seconds. There we go. Just figured it. Figured it out. It was because, again, it was the USB headset. So yeah, like I said, I was playing Rumble first earlier, and a friend of mine was my friend who I was playing with, he basically said, it's a game you really need to take in. Now, I love this game with a passion.
Back to normal.
Thanks, man. I appreciate you keeping an eye out for us. But yeah, this is a game I love. So I kind of want to take it back in again, but I want to make out one of the points that I'm making when I'm playing this is that this is a game I feel has been, like, even though it's critically acclaimed and stuff like that, I still personally feel like this went very much under the radar. I don't think many people know what this game is. And so I want to play this game and do this platinum run through, essentially, this platinum run playthrough with the game. Because I really, really want you guys to be able to experience this. It's an absolutely beautiful game, and I really, really hope you guys love it. I'm not going to be talking as much through this, because, one, I kind of want you guys to embrace the game and to see it for all the beauty that it is, but it's also a case of it's nearly 3 o'clock in the morning here in the UK. This is an absolutely fantastic game. Seriously, guys, if you haven't played it yet, really, really recommend you play it. We are playing on the PS5, so we are playing a PS5 version of this game, and yeah, it's a walking simulator, but the story that it tells is one of the most powerful stories and tragically beautiful that I've played in a long time. So I really, really hope you guys enjoy this. I'm going to go quiet for now. I may chime in every now and then, but for now though, please sit back, relax, grab whatever snacks you may have, or drinks, or anything like that, and please just enjoy this absolute masterpiece of a game that is What Remains of Edith Finch. We don't want to hear about Black Tiger. That's too tragic. It's too tragic for us to talk about, even.
lot of this isn't going to make sense to you. And I'm sorry about that. I'm just going to start at the beginning, with the house. I lived here until I was 11, but I wasn't allowed inside half the rooms. Inside the mailbox were bills from 7 years ago, marked urgent, open immediately.
The original trailer is still on.
Yeah,
I
man,
haven't been
like,
back since my brother Lewis's funeral.
yeah, man, like, that is tragic that Black Tiger still has a fucking trailer on Sony's, like, official page. That's just, that's god awful.
In her will, my mother left me a key, but didn't tell me what it unlocked. Maybe she thought I'd know. Or she thought that the mystery would be enough to bring me back.
Now, to get the first trophy of the run, we need to explore both ways to get to the house. So we'll probably wander along this way. For the record, you don't need to wander this way. I'm taking in the scenery. Because this game on PS5 looks fucking beautiful.
The truth is, even after I inherited the house, I never thought I'd come back to it. But now I had questions about my family that only the house knew the answers to.
No, but seriously though, Luke, if you're still here in the chat, by the way, like, it's a walking simulator, so it is a bit of a slower type of game, probably for you, but I seriously recommend this game, man. It's such a fucking good game. You'll see what I mean by, like,
The woods around the house have always been uncomfortably silent.
You'll see what I mean.
They're about to say something, but never do.
I really don't want to keep cutting off the character, but yeah, you'll see what I mean when I say, like, it's a beautifully tragic story, but despite it being like a walking simulator, it kind of, I don't know, it's just got this really, really fucking amazing feeling when you're playing the game, and like, especially when you do certain segments of the game, and because while it's a walking simulator now, there's a lot of segments in the game where it actually changes the gameplay style. So yeah, I want to do this every now and then, just kind of play a game that I just really want to play, that I personally feel like went under the radar, and just kind of helped to give a little bit of, like, exposure to it.
No one had driven this way in a long time, but I saw a few hoof prints.
That's the first trophy of the run. So, just for the record, guys, it's probably not showing the trophies on the stream for you, but yeah, you know, the trophies are there. So that first trophy there was for all roads, which basically requires you to go both paths to get to the house.
The house was exactly like I remembered it, the way I'd been dreaming about it.
I want to quickly take a picture of this, because whenever I get a platinum trophy, I like to have a picture from in the game. So yeah, like I definitely want to get a picture of that. I think the house is just symbolic for my platinum image for this.
As a child, the house made me uncomfortable in a way I couldn't put into words. Now, as a 17-year-old, I knew exactly what those words were. I was afraid of the house. I hoped the key might unlock the front door. It didn't. Looking in, I felt like the house itself had been waiting for me.
If this game was set in Norfolk, the
Jesus Christ. Funny enough, if you want a walking simulator though that's set in Britain, play Everybody's Gone to the Rapture. Although granted that game is nowhere near as good. It's
The house
okay.
felt like it had always been here. Even the swing set was older than my mother.
Yeah, Everybody's Got the Rapture's okay, but it's no Edith Finch.
Crawling through the doggy door used to be a lot easier when I was 11. For the first time in years, I felt like I was home. But instead of a family, there were just memories of one. Like how only one restaurant would deliver to our house, so we had Chinese a lot.
It made me feel like I wouldn't complain.
Or how after Lewis started working at the cannery, we all got sick of eating salmon. Except our cat, Molly. The table was still a wreck from the night we left.
Anyway, guys, I'm actually gonna go back off mic for now. I'm just gonna let you guys enjoy the story.
My mom was the only one of us who could imagine Great-Grandma Edie living in a nursing home. It was like a bomb had gone off, killing everyone but sparing the furniture. Nothing in the house looked abnormal. There was just too much of it, like a smile with too many teeth. Even the fireplace had a story. Edie told me the bricks came from the original house, after it sank.
See, like one thing I just want to quickly mention, I love how stylish it is. Like so, like there you saw like the wood went up the chimney and stuff. Like it's got a lot of little things like that. Really, really good.
Mom always told me to stay out of the basement, so I wasn't too surprised when the key didn't fit. Great-Grandpa Sven built a music box for Barbara, along with the rest of the house. A lot of things got left behind in the whirlwind of that last night. My mom wasn't much of an optimist, but she never stopped believing that my brother Milton was alive. Edie told me once that every Finch who ever lived is buried somewhere in the library. After Milton disappeared, Mom sealed up all the bedrooms. Then Edie retaliated and drilled peepholes. Molly always seemed like a girl I could imagine being friends with, if she hadn't died in 1947. The last time I was in Edith Sr.'s room, I was 10 and she was painting my portrait.
One quick thing worth mentioning, guys, the reason that I'm doing this right now is that another one of the trophies requires you to look in every peephole in the game. So that's kind of what we're doing right now, just quickly going around getting all the peepholes.
As a kid, I just assumed every house had peepholes and sealed rooms you weren't allowed inside of. My Grandpa Sam spent 7 years sharing a room with his dead brother, Calvin. Edie's father, Odin, built the original house. Barbara was a child star for 2 years, until America grew out of it. Mom must have locked the third-floor stairs on the night we left. I spent a lot of time playing in Great Uncle Walter's room. I think my mom sometimes regretted not sealing it up. Lewis told me there were secret passages, but I never believed him. Turns out, my mom was really good at keeping secrets. Now it was time to find out what my mom had been afraid of. From the paintings on the wall, it was clear my brother Milton had been here before me. Reading this, maybe it sounds like I had a plan. But I had no idea what was behind that door. Just like I had no idea where all this was gonna lead. I grew up looking at Molly's room through the peephole. Molly's gerbil had a tiny bedroom with its own even tinier gerbil cage. Being inside for the first time, I felt like I'd stepped behind a painting. I got the sense Edie had spent a lot of time here, before my mom sealed the doors.
December 13th, 1947. Dear Diary, I'll be gone soon, but I wanted to tell somebody about what's gonna happen. It started when Mom sent me to bed without dinner. I woke up and I was starving, so I looked around for something to eat. My Halloween candy was all gone. Mom, can I come out now?
Sweetheart, it's late. Go to sleep.
The gerbil food was dry, but I didn't mind it. I thought about eating Christopher, but I held back. I kept eating and eating. I ate a lot of things that night. Then I heard chirping outside my window. It was a barn swallow going back to her nest. I reached out for her. And suddenly, I was a cat. I tried to be quiet, but the bird was really scared. I jumped and I almost got her. I could tell she was getting really tired. Now I was up in the big tree. I promised Dad I wouldn't climb it anymore. All I cared about was eating that mama bird. I gobbled her up. And suddenly, I was an owl. First, all I heard was the wind. Then I heard little teeth nibbling in the grass. Rabbits. up, and I didn't chew one bit. Then I flew off to find something bigger. A mama rabbit. She was almost too big to carry. I started choking, but I couldn't stop eating.
For the record, guys, that was trophy number 2.
I was a shark.
Oh, shit. Well, this story took a big turn. I love this bit so much. So yeah, trophy number 2 is basically you have to catch 2 rabbits in just like 2 swoops. So you can't do any more than that.
I rolled off a cliff and into the ocean. Now I was hungrier than ever. That juicy seeds. I tore off her flipper, and it tasted really good.
I get really sad about this bit. I don't like killing seals and rabbits, especially seals. Seals are just water doggos.
Grabbed on tight. But I was so hungry, I jumped out of the water. When I opened my eyes, everything had changed. Now I was a monster, and I smelled people everywhere.
So yeah, guys, we're going to be coming up on trophy number 3 in a second, which I believe is we have to let a sailor finish the song.
I was big, but I moved real quiet.
Hopefully that's not the sailor we need. So.
To stop, but also I didn't.
What shall we do with a drunken sailor early in the morning? He's sober early in the morning. Drunken sailor, what shall we do with a drunken sailor? What shall we do with a drunken sailor early in the morning?
What shall we do with a drunken sailor? What shall we do with a drunken sailor? What shall we do with a drunken sailor?
Early in the morning. Christmas Eve when she rises early in the morning. There we go. And as our next trophy, let him finish. That's basically letting the sailor finish singing What Do We Do with a Drunken Sailor. And now we get to eat him. That's what you get for making us wait.
Passenger, I was still hungry. And across the water, I smelled something new. Something I had to have, so I swam towards it.
And this is where the game gets really unsettling and really, really creepy.
Sand, and the good smell went into an old pipe.
You guys know where we are, right?
I got closer and closer. All of my stomach started growling. And suddenly, I was me again. I held my breath for a long time, but I couldn't hear anything. I think it's waiting for me to fall asleep. But it's not going to wait much longer. It needs to be, and we both know I will be delicious.
I'm not sure if I believed all of that, but I'm sure Edie would have.
Yeah, so in case you haven't figured it out yet, the whole purpose of this game is that we're journeying through the house, exploring the different ways in which the cursed Finch family have died. So Edith's inherited the house, and so we're now exploring the stories of all those who perished. One thing, because
I can't describe it, but I felt like some part of Molly was still here.
I really can't remember if it was actually if it gets explained in the game or not. But basically, the berries that Molly ate before she became a cat, they were poisonous berries, so that's how she died.
This will be obvious later, but my mom never told me any of these stories. Edie would have, but Mom didn't like bringing up the past. Though, when we adopted a stray kitten, she was the one who named it Molly. I spent a lot of time in Great-Grandma Edie's room. Her room was like a museum. For 500 years, the Finches have been famous throughout Norway for their fortune and misfortune. Odin Finch buries the latest victims of the family curse, his wife Ingeborg and their newborn son, Johan. On January 7th, 1937, he set sail with his family and his house, hoping to leave the curse behind. But 40-foot waves off the coast of Washington send the house and Odin to the bottom of the sea. Odin's daughter Edie, with husband Sven and baby Molly, step ashore on their new home, Orcas Island. Odin Finch is the first to be buried in the new family cemetery. His daughter Edie is already dreaming of a new Finch house. Whatever's wrong with this family, it goes back a long ways. Louis died a week before we left, but Edie had already started to memorialize him. Edie knit me a new pair of gloves every year, just in time to replace the old ones. When Edie told people Sven was killed by a dragon, she could also have said he was building a dragon-shaped slide that collapsed. She could have, but she didn't. One summer, they evacuated the island, but Edie refused to go. For a few weeks, she was a celebrity. I hadn't thought of myself as Edith Jr. for a long time. Edie gave a big interview about a mole man living under the Finch house. My mom was furious. Even in her 90s, sometimes Edie seemed a lot younger than my mother. The only trace Grandpa Sam's first wife Kay left on the house was the pink bathroom. It was a pretty big trace. There's a secret in this bathroom. It's in the last place you would look. It isn't in the cupboard. It's hidden in this book. Sven gave Sam an old camera he'd refurbished. He never put it down. I knew Grandpa Sam had a twin. And that he never talked about him. I guess my grandpa didn't like history any more than my mom did.
How I Want to Remember My Brother by Sam Finch. The thing I remember is that when he made up his mind, that was it. My brother said he'd die before he ate another mushroom, and he did. At Barbara's funeral, we swore we'd never be afraid again, and he wasn't. I think Calvin always wanted to fly.
Sam! Calvin! Dinner's ready! Coming!
But that day, he finally made up his mind to do it. I told him going around was impossible. Maybe if I hadn't said that,
Calvin! I'm not gonna tell you again!
maybe if the wind hadn't picked up, then maybe he'd still be here. But I doubt it. I think he'd already made up his mind. That's what I want to remember about my brother. The day he made up his mind to fly. And he did.
Calvin's story felt strangely familiar. When I was younger, I remember trying to do the exact same thing.
So again, as you guys can see, the stories in this
After
aren't...
the funeral, Edie roped off Calvin's half of the room.
Yeah, as you can tell, guys, the stories in this aren't exactly pleasant.
Mom said Grandpa Sam enlisted at 18 and never set foot in the room again.
Again, it's just a thing, though, where it's like all the stories in this game are very tragic, but at the same time, they're, weirdly, they're beautiful as well, in the way that, especially in the way that the game, personifies death. It almost has a bit of whimsy and wonder to it. Now, I believe the next one is probably one of my favorite sequences in the entire game, so... Pretty sure it is. Yep, it definitely is.
The passages were a pretty tight fit. They'd obviously been built for smaller hands and bellies.
So we could get a shortcut here. But yeah, so anyone who knows me personally, I know quite a lot of you guys probably don't, but one thing you guys should know about me is I love horror films. One of my all-time favorite horror films is Halloween. And this next chapter has a very Halloween feel
Growing
to
up,
it.
I always thought of Barbara as a child star.
Again, I'll go quiet now, but just enjoy this next sequence, because this is honestly
I never thought
one of
about
my...
how hard it must have been for her afterwards.
This is genuinely one of my favorite sequences in the entire game. So, hope you guys enjoy it as much as I do.
Of all the stories people wrote about Barbara's death, I'm surprised Edie saved this one.
Old Jack here with another ghastly tale inspired by America's most unfortunate family. I'm calling it The Surprise Ending of Barbara Finch. As a child star, Barbara was famous for her scream. Now at 16, she was all washed up. A has-been. But in a lucky break, she'd been asked to perform her signature scream at a local convention for monster movie fans. It was just the boost her career needed. Unfortunately, her scream hadn't aged well.
Getting better. I think you just need the right motivation.
Her biggest fan and current boyfriend, Rick, was about to demonstrate when...
Now that was a great scream.
It was Barbara's father, Sven. He'd slipped into a table saw and had to be rushed to the emergency room. So Barbara got stuck babysitting her youngest brother, Walter. Her convention comeback was cancelled.
Okay, I'm hearing frustration, but I'm not hearing terror. What if I tried...
A gang of hoodlums in Halloween masks have been terrorizing Orcas Island tonight. Police are urging residents to...
That came from the basement.
You're right! Also, I loved your delivery on that. Why is your basement door locked?
Because my dad likes making puzzles and secret passages. There's a key hidden in the music box. The secret is to keep winding and winding until finally the key pops out.
Thanks, babe. I'll be back in a sec.
20 minutes later, Rick hadn't returned. So Barbara went to look for him, right on cue. She reached for the music box. And as she wound the key, she listened for Rick, but the house was silent.
The gang's leader is the infamous Hookman killer, Dr. Carl Hamill, who impaled and then ate his family 10 years ago tonight.
edge rattled and grew still.
Oh dear!
Oh!
Rick?
Barb, relax. I was just trying to scare you to help you find your scream.
Well, I'm not scared, Rick. I'm furious.
Then act furious. All I'm getting from you now is that you're hurt and confused and
She threw him out, but she kept a little something to remember him by.
Barb, have you seen my other crutch?
And she was still holding it when she fell asleep watching the late picture show. Hours later...
Barbara! Walter, what's going on up there? Ah! Okay, I'm coming up, but if this is a trick, you're dead, Walter.
hadn't been opened in years. The hinges groaned. She heard whispering. It was coming from inside the house.
Oh dear.
You were wonderful. The monsters had come to surprise her. For Barbara, it was a dream come true. Then she saw what kind of monsters they were, and she realized what was about to happen. She was going to be famous. And with her final breath, Barbara Finch gave the performance of her life. I wasn't there myself, but I hear Barbara was magnificent. Poor girl. She had a taste for stardom. But unfortunately, so did her fans. Of course, the police blamed it all on poor Rick, who disappeared the same night. And little Walter? hiding under his bed the whole time. He took it all pretty hard, but that's another story. As for Barbara, tucked inside the music box is all they ever found of her. Her ear. Now that's what I call a real eerie tale.
Edie told me all Barbara wanted was to be remembered, as absurd as that comic was. Maybe what Edie saw was a happy ending.
So yeah, that's why that one was my favorite. Oh, that one. See, that one and one of the next ones coming up is probably my favorite ones in the entire game. That one purely because I love the comic book aesthetic of it. I love the fact that it plays the Halloween theme, which is probably one of my favorite movie theme tunes of all time.
I guess now I know why Mom didn't like me playing with the music box.
But like I said, I like the comic aesthetic of it, and it actually has a creepy atmosphere. Like the bit when I was going upstairs and like the rollerblade falls down the stairs, like that genuinely got a jump out of me just there. Like that's not even a lie. Like it genuinely did make me jump a little bit.
Whenever people ask me about my family, the first thing they always want to know about is Barbara.
So now we go down into the basement. Well, we just were in that last one. It's hard to look at the music box once you play that story and you unlock the music box. It is hard to kind of look at it the same way again. Very eerie stuff in this. And I think that's why I love it. It's a really good narrative story. But it's not necessarily a horror. It's just got very creepy, atmospheric moments to it. But like I said, because of the way that the storytelling is done, and the way that the music is done, and everything else, it draws you in.
Mom said the basement was off limits, unless I wanted another tetanus shot. I saw Edie sneak down to the basement once, carrying packages. I thought maybe she was hiding presents. It turned out she was hiding a lot more than that. I remember asking Mom once about where Walter had gone. She said after Barbara died, he got as far away as he could. If there's a pattern in all these stories, I think it's that none of us has gotten very far.
Goodbye, everyone. I can't believe I've been down here for 30 years. On that first day, after the shaking started, I didn't think I'd survive a week. But after a few days, I settled into a routine. That's what kept me sane. having a schedule, living for today. I always expected to be dead tomorrow. But if you wait long enough, you get used to anything. Even a monster on the other side of a door starts to feel normal. Almost friendly. And then one day, everything just stopped. Whatever that thing was, it was gone. Maybe it got tired of waiting. Or maybe I just got tired of being afraid. It's been a week now, the longest in 30 years. I'm done waiting. I have to leave while I still can. I know it's out there somewhere. Whatever killed Barbara and Molly and Calvin. Maybe this is all a mistake. But I need to stop living the same day, even if it kills me. Whatever's out there, I want you to know I'm ready for it. I'm going to appreciate all of it, especially the food. I don't mind if I only have a year left, or a month, or a single week. I'd be happy with one new day. I can already imagine the sun on my face.
Walter died when I was 6. I can't believe my mom never told me he was down here. I'm sure my mom was trying to protect me. Maybe she was afraid I'd end up like Walter. But if she never told me about an uncle under the house, I can only imagine what else she was hiding. I don't want to make the same mistakes she made. Trying to bury something that's still alive. Now that there's only one of us left, or maybe 2, I thought it was time I heard the stories for myself and found out what happened to everyone else. But now I'm worried the stories themselves might be the problem. Maybe we believed so much in a family curse, we made it real. I don't know if I should even be writing this. Maybe it'd be better if all this just died with me. But I thought you should know about your family. And the history you're a part of. Though to be honest, I feel as lost as you probably do right now. I think the people in these stories believed them, for what that's worth. And when you look at the house, that history of imagination and stubbornness and madness, any of it seems possible. I think we've been surrounded by death for so long, we've just gotten used to it. What kind of family finishes building a cemetery before starting the house? It's embarrassing for me to admit this, but the pet cemetery made me more uncomfortable than the human one. 3 of the gerbils were mine, and 2 had been my fault. Sven built the house, but it was Edie who designed the cemetery.
Holy shit, like, guys, one thing I just need to quickly point out, I never knew you could do this. I was just genuinely curious just when I saw it was Walters. I thought I'd have a zoom in, see if I could see a train track. And yeah, I didn't realize that you could see this, like, just by looking into, like, the grave. God, this game. It's just full of so many things where you fall in love with it more and more as you play it. God, this seriously.
I'm sure Odin's monument had been Edie's idea. My mom was always
Play
trying
this
to move
fucking
on,
game.
but for Edie, the past never went away.
Please play this fucking game.
She could see it poking out of the water at low tide. Edie said she dreamed about the old house every night. Edie's side was always easier for me to understand. But the older I get, the more I can see where my mom was coming from. Her dad had been pretty strict, but it wasn't enough to save her brothers. She was just trying to do better. She lost 2 of her brothers, just like I did. I get why she tried so hard to protect us. We never found Milton's body, so my mom insisted we were putting up a monument, not a tombstone.
Now, one thing to quickly point out, if you see that paintbrush there and it looks familiar, you might see why when we get to Milton's story. I'll talk about it a little bit when we get there, but yeah, it's a really, really nice little nod to another Giant Sparrow game, which I just want to point out, playing this game so many times before, and it just makes me realize how much I genuinely love Giant Sparrow as a developer. Yeah.
There's so many things I wish I could ask my mom now. Part of me thinks this is what she wanted all along. For me to come back someday and find everything out for myself. But looking back on it now, if she told me there was going to be so much climbing, I never would have come when I was 22 weeks pregnant. I never met Grandpa Sam, but I think he and my mom had a lot in common. They were both pretty intense.
Just give me 2 seconds there, guys. I just want to quickly check. I'm pretty sure there's a trophy in this section that I need to aim for. Hello. So spooky. Have you been here all this time, Luke?
No.
Alright, okay. I was just gonna ask
Instead
you
of
what you were
hiding from
thinking.
death, Sam seemed to go out of his way to meet it.
I was just gonna ask you what you were thinking of this of the game so far. See if it seems like anything that you'd play.
Was about.
Sam spent his
Jesus
life
Christ.
shooting photos, but Mom said he got nervous being in front of the camera. I guess we're all afraid of something.
Yeah, so there's another trophy in this section that I need to work for, which is I need to take some pictures.
Dawn, I promise, you'll never forget this weekend.
Yes, sir.
These memories are gonna last a lifetime.
Hmm? What? Am I gonna have to shoot anything?
It's a hunting trip, Dawn. Shooting is strongly encouraged. Perfect.
It's gonna rain the whole weekend, isn't it? I will never forget this weekend, Dad.
That's the spirit.
So we look for a rabbit.
Please just take the damn picture.
Hey, language.
There we go, and then we've got our trophy for this particular story, which is Wildlife Photographer. Take a picture of the rabbit outside Edith Finch National Park.
Okay, got it.
I'm gonna take some pictures, okay?
Just be careful. That camera's older than you are.
You're right, Dad. It's starting to clear up. Still freezing, though.
Fair play, mate. Fair play. As long as you mean, at least you can like acknowledge how
Hey,
how beautiful the game is.
Hold still while I take a picture of you.
I'm just saying, I'm not always gonna be here, Dawn. You'll need to remember this stuff, if you want to survive.
I'll be fine, Dad.
You know who else thought he was gonna be fine?
Some guy who died.
Dawn, I'm being serious.
I know, Dad. You're always serious. Doesn't being out here make you want to chill out?
Well, to tell you the truth, I haven't been out here in 20 years.
Yeah, but Luke, you might want to tune into this.
Dawn, don't you think you could find something more interesting to photograph?
You may want to tune into this particular story.
Last time I was with my brother Calvin.
Dad!
Good eyes, Dawn.
Because
Before
this
you take the shot, let me get a picture of you.
this story it's interesting.
Dad, I...
Just breathe. Turn off your imagination. Focus on... Let me get behind you.
Do I have to do this?
Dawn, you don't have to do anything. But if you want to survive, you'll need to be strong. Great shot, Dawn! I'm proud of you, Dawn. Always remember that, okay?
Dad, it's twitching. I think
That's
it's
totally normal, Dawn. Just focus on the camera. Try not to think about—
Dad!
Now that's an oh dear moment. I know it's sad, but I know it's maybe sad, like obviously your experience with all these deaths.
That's the one I wish most that my mom had told me.
But that is also the one that makes me laugh the most. Like, I always chuckle a bit when I say that one. It's just because of the thud sound when the day hits them.
After Sam died, my mom and Edie got really close. They'd both lost a lot.
He had one shot.
To be fair, the day took it.
And he failed.
Just give me 2 seconds, Emma. I'm just going to quickly check something. I just want to quickly check the rest of the trophy tracker, but... I've only got 4. I've only got 4 or 5 trophies left to do. Just give me 2 seconds there, mate. Yeah. Yeah, I've only pretty much got 4 or 5 left to do. So, you know how I was saying that you play through all of the different all the different members of the Finch family's deaths? Well, this next one is the one that's probably tied for my favourite story in the entire game. Purely because of the music choice, because it's probably my favourite piece of music. Like, favourite piece of music of all time. Yeah, this is probably the story that's probably the most dark. In fact, this is probably the darkest story in the entire game. That's why. Yes, that is a 1-year-old. So we are about to play as a baby. Hey look, Pac-Man.
Dear Kay, do you remember the way Gregory used to laugh when he thought he was alone? Like something funny was happening, but only he could see it.
By the way, we're going into the next trophy now, which is going to be to,
I think he saw things the rest of us don't.
Did the baby get...
Something like that.
Gregory, it's time to... Hold on, sweetie. Hello? Sam, I told you I don't want to talk right now.
I wonder what he saw. What his world was like.
That's the next trophy. So that trophy's called Gregory. We need to knock all of the magnetic letters into the bath that spell Gregory's name in. the music!
I wish you could have told us.
Yay!
Saw.
The music's back! All of my bubble friends!
There's so much I don't understand. About Gregory. About everything. But I know what happened wasn't your fault. I'm sure he's happy. And he'd want me to be happy too. Good luck, Kay. Love, Sam.
Like I said, fucking dark. It's the fact that it's like, but this is what I'm saying when I say that this game is tragically beautiful. It's a game that focuses on the concept of death. And I mean, like I said, that's a very dark concept in general, but especially when you're
That was Gregory's fault.
yeah, but the point is though, I'm just saying, when you're playing as each victim as well, and then obviously you're playing as a baby, but it's like, for example, like when the water went up, like when you put the water back into the tub, like you see it from almost Gregory's perspective, where it's kind of like he's the frog, he's enjoying, this whimsical world with all his friends and all his toys, and it's all come to life and all wonderful. And then you see the plug getting pulled out, obviously by the mother who has run in and found the baby. But like, you found the baby and stuff like that. And then, like, obviously as the plug's gone out, you see that orb of light in which the baby just kind of swims into it, and that's, like, swimming towards the afterlife, essentially. Like I said, it puts a beautiful spin on the concept of death. But yeah, still, playing a 1-year-old's death is still very, very dark. And I love that this game took that risk.
I wanted writing poetry, and yet...
A poem for Gus, who always said the wedding was a bad idea. Our father never hit us kids, at least not very hard, before the day my brother said with teenage disregard that he'd be dead before he'd see a wedding in our yard. My father made him come, of course, but Gus stood far apart, just flew his kite and bottled up the storm inside his heart. I tried to talk him out of it, but though he'd never met her, we don't need a stepmom, were the words that
I now pronounce you husband and wife. You may kiss the bride.
When the time for photos came, Dad ordered him to come here. But Gus declined, and as a sign held up his middle finger. The wind picked up, and panicked geese appeared and quickly went. But all the humans did that day was go inside the tent.
I'm stuck.
Yeah. You finally found a family more cursed than the Joestars.
The rain came down in buckets then, but no one seemed afraid that nature might destroy the tent our dad had crudely made. The thunder sounded much too close and full of angry power. But all my father said to this was, "Make the music louder." I wish that I could truly say I thought about you on that day. Out there on the beach alone, just you, the wind, the sea, and foam. But I didn't. Until we found you.
She never talked about him, but Mom told me once if I was a boy, they were going to name me Gus.
I guess it's a good thing that you were born a girl, because that is a terrible name for a child. I love this, by the way, where it's got like it's kind of got like a schedule for what the kids have to do. It's like raise flag 7:30 a.m., breakfast 8 a.m., quiet time 11 p.m. Then duties dawn, sweep, trash, Gus, mop, mow yard, Greg, be a baby. I love that. I love that they wrote be a baby. Jesus Christ, 100 crunches, 100 crunches and 100 push-ups. Fuck that.
Greg failed his...
My mom moved up to the loft after the first time.
Fucking hell, man.
At the time, it was as far away as she could get.
Jesus Christ. He's a ghost baby now.
Religion was another thing my mom never talked about, but I think it helped her a lot after her dad died. She spent a summer building houses in Calcutta, where she met my dad, Sanjay.
Okay. And we're not doing Dawn's story
My mom
just
moved
yet.
to India a week after graduation and got a job teaching English. Lewis was born.
Jesus Christ, dude. Got me a drink. Still fucking roasting here, like, seriously, like, what's the time? It's like nearly 4:10 here. The sun is, well, I think it's the sun. I mean, the sky is pretty orange, but it's fucking roasting here. Really, really hot. So yeah, like I was saying, originally I got a camera because I was gonna do a camera stream like with this game, but this is a game I think it's better to just kind of chill with. So the next game I'll be streaming with
When my dad died, I
a
don't
camera.
think Mom knew where else to go.
It's probably gonna be either Madison or it's gonna be Phobia. It'll
I'm
be
sure
a horror
he was
game.
happy to have her back. And to see kids in the house again.
So yeah, by the way, whenever anyone tells you, by the way, that your house is too small and you can't do an extension, just remember, the Finches literally built a fucking tower on top of their house. Bear they incorporated a treehouse into the main house. Don't let your dreams be dreams.
The house had to get a little bigger, but Edie was used to that. And for a while, things were good. Almost normal. But it didn't last.
In the UK, they would have been told to pull it.
The beginning of the end was Milton's 10th birthday, when Edie gave him a castle. After Milton disappeared, the only thing he left behind was a room full of paintings.
To be fair, like, you're not wrong there. Like, I could definitely imagine them being told to do that. Oh. Such an amazing little musical number. So yeah, like I was saying earlier with the paintbrush with Milton, it's all a reference.
I think Edie was happy to finally have another painter in the family.
There's a reason why Milton disappeared. There's a reason why he disappeared and why he didn't
Finch
appear.
in the magic paintbrush.
Like, why he's not, like, classified as dead.
Milton is...
Jesus Christ. Yeah, so the magic paintbrush.
I was 4 when Milton disappeared.
So yeah, for anyone who's not aware, Giant Sparrow, before this game, made a game called The Unfinished Swan. And that's an amazing game as well. It was co-developed by Sony Santa Monica. I believe Annapurna published it on PC. But the music that you just heard there is actually from The Unfinished Swan. It's from the story of that game. And same goes for all the pictures down below, the little yellow footprints. That's to signify like the swan's footprints in Unfinished Swan. This here is like the kingdom that you explore in that game. But yeah, and the reason that Milton is wearing a king outfit and why there's like a king with a mustache. So in the Unfinished Swan, the antagonist of the game essentially is it's this king who kind of decided to rule over his entire kingdom, and he essentially drained color from the kingdom. He made everything all like grey and monochrome. So the idea is that when you go into the world, you're essentially painting the world as you go, and you're painting it all with a magic paintbrush. So what it's essentially trying to say is that the king in the Unfinished Swan, who I believe dies in the game. Sorry, spoiler alert for Unfinished Swan there. But yeah, like basically it's basically insinuated that Milton Finch is actually the king from the Unfinished Swan.
Mom spent months searching for my brother. Then she sealed the doors.
And so it's like that door is like a similar door that you'd go through in Unfinished Swan as well. And that chameleon, or like that frog-like chameleon thing there, that's something you encounter in the game. Like that is the actual front cover for Unfinished Swan. But yeah, just a nice, neat little bit of trivia right there. Yes. Seriously, I said it before, I will say it again. Like, Giant Sparrow deserves a lot more credit.
Mom didn't want it getting out.
Giant Sparrow's an absolutely phenomenal developer. Tell very, 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 very well crafted stories.
Mom definitely blamed Edie, but I think Louis blamed himself. After he graduated, he just spent more and more time in his room. Until Mom got him a job at the cannery.
And that's where our next story is going to take place.
Everyone always told me to stay out of Louis's room.
And that's our next
Except
trophy
Louis.
there. A closer look. So you're awarded that for looking through every peephole and hearing Edith's dialogue in the peepholes. So obviously there's all the different ones on the doors. There's that one with the telescope that we did in the graveyard. And then there's also the little hole in the fence at the very beginning of the game. And so we're about going to Lewis's room. Where we're going to do the penultimate story of this game.
Are being a peeping Tom was actual.
Damn straight, mate. Peeping Toms get you platinum trophies.
Louis's room smelled very, very familiar. That part of him lived on.
Don't believe me about Peeping Toms getting platinums? Just play Near Automata. Or one of the... I can't remember which Yakuza game it is, but one of the Yakuza games. Or Lollipop Chainsaw. Need I go on? Yeah, that smell in Lewis's room. I'm pretty sure most of you guys know what that smell is.
Louis and I spent a lot of time playing games together, but he was surprisingly bad at them. He died a lot.
Well, isn't that the moral of the story?
Yuri.
Well, I mean, a different kind of weed, but, well, weed, but, yeah, kinda.
Spoiler, Louis was a Discord.
Jesus Christ. Okay. So now we're about... Now you're about to find out what happened to Lewis. I warn you, this one can also be considered a bit
Dear
graphic
Mrs.
as well.
Finch, as Lewis's psychiatrist, I can understand your desire for an explanation. As I see it, the trouble began in January, shortly after we convinced your son to seek treatment for substance abuse. Newly sober, I believe Lewis first noticed the monotony of his daily life. He kept working at the cannery, but he withdrew part of himself. In our sessions, I saw the same behavior.
You'll find out, just watch
His
the,
mind began to
just watch the story.
wander.
So yeah, so as you can see, this little story is very interesting. So with the left analog stick, you control the little wanderer, like kind of exploring the maze.
I asked him to describe it.
Something's a bit fishy here.
You had to fucking say it, didn't you? While with the right analog stick, you're controlling obviously the fish and like sort of like throwing the fish like into the thing where you cut the heads off, the guillotine, and then throwing them up the conveyor belts.
He said he started small, imagining a labyrinth. Could feel his way about.
Such a unique story, this
Then
one.
something moved. Bats. And toads.
He's sleeping with the fishes.
Not quite yet.
And things that have not names. He knew it was all in his head.
So as you can see, we got fish blocking the way.
But he took it very seriously.
I think his favorite game was...
Oh god, no. Where's this going?
But he found something more. I worried about him then. Daydreaming at the cannery. I spoke with his boss. But he said Lewis had become a model employee. Methodical, tireless, focused. Like a whole new Lewis. So I let him go on. I even encouraged him. It seemed very promising at first.
And Wiz, this one actually shows just how much like your jobs don't really appreciate you. Because I mean, literally, they just said that his therapist was worrying about
He
him,
told me he'd made a new friend.
and the employer said that he became a model employee, so I'm not really caring about the health. So we made a new friend. We got a double
On
friend.
the edge of a city he named Lewis Topia.
Statistical, but there you
He
go.
built the city up slowly, brick by brick. Then he made musicians. And songs for them to play. He talked about starting a band. And he was always humming something. Every day his imagination grew stronger. He no longer spoke at the cannery. but his chopping was as reliable as ever. Then one day it struck him that all the cheering crowds, even the stones under his feet, were all in his imagination. So he could do whatever he wished.
Looks like his life is finished.
He held an election for mayor. And he won.
Well, I mean, at least he's not down and
They
drought.
begged him to stay, but his mind was already wandering. It became a game for him. He'd conquer a city, then immediately push on.
See, that's what I'm saying, like, this one's like a full-on adventure where you start and you explore, like, different areas. It's such a good, unique little game. This was a totally unique story. Really, really good.
He started drifting away from our reality. Minneapolis. Until one day he forgot to go home from the cannery. Even as his mother pleaded with him, part of Lewis kept sailing on. In Lewisburg, he heard rumors of a handsome queen. The queen was on her own quest for sinister serpents. Followed the sound of her electric sitar.
Lewis faked all of this. He did it
His
on
chase led him to a golden palace east of the sun and west of the moon.
I mean, to be fair though, he couldn't help it.
Even then, his logic remained sound. He knew the world was all in his imagination. But he was so proud of having created it. In his own eyes, he'd become something greater than a king. For someone who'd never known success in the real world, I think it was overwhelming. And then it struck him that the real Lewis was not the one chopping salmon, but the one climbing the steps of a golden palace. My imagination is as real as my body, he told me. It was hard to argue with him. Began to forget the world we know. I think it pained him to remember Lewis, the cannery worker.
This is kind of what it's like to actually work this. Right? Just you feel like
He
your
began to
life's just
despise the
drifting
man with a
away.
royal contempt.
Each and every day, like you feel like everything's just drifting away to the point where you can't like disappear into your own head every now and then. Yeah, well,
I still thought I could save
very
him.
bad.
Even after he said he was being crowned king over all the lands of wonder. The palace would be packed with his companions.
Here we go. It's the big celebration ceremony. We did it.
Including the wise Calico who'd insisted on advising them. His queen waited, holding his crown. There was only one thing left to do. Bend down his head.
Bend down our head. Get crowned.
And the rest I think you know. Mrs. Finch, your son was a kind man who will be missed by all of us who knew him.
Again, some of these stories are a bit graphic.
My brother was really cool. I wish you could have met him.
So we've nearly filled the entire tree out now. We just need Edie and Dawn. Probably good timing as well. I'm getting a little bit tired.
Funeral, my mom told me to start packing. She waited until the day before we left to tell Edie. I'm not sure if she wanted to make it easier or harder. I wish we'd stayed.
Because we're now in my room.
But I understand why we left. My mom ended up leaving everything behind. What happened that night had been coming for a long time. Maybe it should have come sooner. But it had to end one way or another.
Imagine the last trophy.
All that's left now is to tell
Please
you
don't
about
say
that
that.
last night.
Like, why would you do that? Why would you say such a thing? Yeah. So let's just relax and delve into the final story.
That whole last day, Edie just watched us pack and didn't say a word. Until supper, when she raised her glass and said,
"To our final night together, and all our final nights apart."
Grandma, you know what I said about alcohol. Some of your medications are very
Edith,
specific.
I left a present for you in the hallway. Why don't you go open it? The grown-ups have to argue now.
I'm sorry, you're right. We're all leaving tomorrow. Let's just enjoy our last...
I'm not leaving.
Edith, you're excused.
power had been shut off that morning, but Edie always had plenty of candles. When my mom sealed the library, I don't think she knew about the other entrance. Or that Edie had a key to it.
The thing you're afraid of isn't going to end when you leave the house. Edith has a right to know these stories.
My children are dead because of your stories.
I mean, to be fair though, Edie does have a point. Like, her father literally left another fucking country to get away from this curse, and it still followed him and sunk him.
I think it's best if Edith and I leave tonight.
Yeah.
We'll have the nursing home send a van for you in the morning. Okay?
History of the Finches by Edith Finch.
Dear Edith, there's so many stories I wish I could tell you, but there's only time for one. This is about what happened on the night you were born. That night, the tide went way, way out. It was the first and last time I ever saw the old house aground. There'd been an earthquake out in the middle of the ocean. They called it the lowest tide in 1,000 years. God, it smelled awful. You know, I've seen that house every day of my life. But I never thought I'd go back to it. When the fog rolled in, I lost my way. I got turned around. I started seeing things. Things I'd forgotten had ever existed. But when I saw them, they felt like old friends. That night, a lot of things came back to me. Or maybe I came back to them. Things I can't explain, but that I need you to try and...
Edith, what are you doing in here?
It's mine.
Edith!
Mom, you're gonna rip it! Let go! I kicked and screamed, but
I can imagine.
Mom dragged me to the car.
You say you can imagine this game having some Sixth Sense type of thing, like... What do you mean by that? To quote the wise Saving the Bees, what do you mean by that?
The next morning, the van came to pick her up, but she was already gone. After that, we moved around a lot. We both tried to make the best of it.
Like Bruce Willis.
A few years went by.
Like Bruce Willis was always dead.
My mom didn't like to talk about it. But she started getting sick a lot.
Well, I mean, might not be.
She got better for
Who
a
knows?
while.
We'll see when we get to the end of the game. We're nearly there.
And then she didn't. And then I was alone. The last Finch left alive. Until I found out about you. I'm still not sure what to tell you about all this.
Guess where we are, chat?
If we lived forever, maybe we'd have time to understand things. But as it is, I think the best we can do is try to open our eyes. And appreciate how strange and brief all of this is. This journal was supposed to be for you.
Guess what that light is at the end of the tunnel, chat?
But now I hope you'll never see it. I just want to meet you. And tell you all these stories myself. But I guess if you're reading this now, things didn't work out that way. This is where your story begins. I'm sorry I won't be there to see it. It's a lot to ask, but I don't want you to be sad that I'm gone. I want you to be amazed that any of us ever had a chance to be here at all. Good luck.
And that's the end of our tragically beautiful tale. But yeah, I really hope you guys enjoyed that playthrough. Like, fucking music, man. Like, there's our next trophy, Everything Ends, which is to witness all the stories in the game. But, yeah, this game's just something else, man. Like, it's such a dark concept, but also, like, handled with, like, such care. But yeah, if you... would really be interested to see if you guys would be interested in seeing more games like this, or... Oh, there we go, there's our next trophy. Thanks, Johan. So, Johan's the audio and unlockables programmer. You need to see his name in the credits. Yeah, I can kind of get why it's a one and done for most people, but yeah, this game is just something special to me. Like I loved it every moment. I loved every second I played of it the first time, and it's one of those games that's just continued to stick with me. It's just the stories it tells and everything. Yeah, like I said, though, I really hope you guys liked the playthrough. Still a few more things we need to do before we get the platinum, though, so we'll be getting the platinum on stream, though. But yeah, like this game, like I said, like this was a personal favorite of mine, so I wanted to do just a random game that I liked that I thought maybe I can bring a little bit of light to on this game, like bring it a few more people's attention, which I hope I did. As well as even maybe make a somewhat unique playthrough. Well, I say unique, a somewhat interesting playthrough platinum walkthrough, essentially, like a platinum trophy guide. I just kind of wanted to play this a bit casually, just enjoy myself with a few interesting names in there as well. But yeah, well, as I said, hopefully we can try and play a few more games similar to this in the future, or at least like just games I kind of want to bring appreciation to. The end. Then, as you can see there, we've now got the entire family tree filled in. Well, obviously apart from Edith's date, but so we now have the replay story section. So now, in order to get the final, I believe I've only got 2 more trophies left to do. So we need to play Calvin's story again. So we need. Jesus Christ, dude. No, so we need to do Calvin's story again because we need to loop the loop again. And then the other trophy is pretty much awarded for replaying like one of the stories. So yeah, there we go. There's the next trophy for replay a story.
I knew Grandpa Sam had a twin. And that he never talked about him.
And now we get the
I
final
guess my
trophy.
grandpa didn't like history any more than my mom did.
So we get the final trophy for replaying Calvin's story again.
How I Want to Remember My Brother by Sam Finch. The thing I remember is that when he made up his mind, that was it. My brother said he'd die before he ate another mushroom. And he did. At Barbara's funeral, we swore we'd never be afraid again. And he wasn't. I think Calvin always wanted to fly.
Sam! Calvin! Dinner's ready! Coming!
But that day, he finally made up his mind to do it. I told him going around was impossible. Maybe if I hadn't said that.
Calvin! I'm not gonna tell you again!
Maybe if the wind hadn't picked up. Then maybe he'd still be here. But I doubt it. I think he'd already made up his mind. That's what I want to remember about my brother. The day he made up his mind to fly. And he did.
Calvin's story felt strangely familiar. When I was younger, I remember trying to do the exact same thing.
That's the trophy, loop-de-loop,
After the funeral, Edie roped off Calvin's half of the room.
And there it is. Platinum, all done. Acquired all trophies in What Remains of Edith Finch.
Mom said Grandpa Sam enlisted at 18 and never set foot in the room again.
And that is the entire playthrough, guys. Thanks for just chilling with me on this one. It's just been a nice little chill, quiet stream to play. Just
Don't
really.
the laws of physics.
I had to ruin something special there, dude. But no, seriously, guys, like, thank you for just chilling with me on this nice, quiet stream. It was such a delight to play this game again, and again, if you haven't played it before, highly recommend that you give this a go. What Remains of Edith Finch, now on sale on, well, I say now on sale, it's not price drop, but it's available now on PS4, PS5, Xbox One, Xbox Series X, and PC. Really hope you guys enjoyed this. If you enjoyed it, please be sure to hit like, subscribe to the channel. There's going to be more content like this as the year goes on. And be sure to comment down below on what you liked, what maybe your favourite story section was in the entire game. Or even then, if you'd buy it or if you wouldn't buy it, I'd be very interested. Or don't do any of that. It's entirely up to you. But yeah, once again, guys, thank you for even just a little bit of your time. It's much appreciated, and I will see you all in the next one. We'll probably stream again, maybe Monday, I'd imagine, with a horror game, maybe Madison or Phobia. I'll decide on the day, but yeah. Until then, guys, hope you have a good one. Hope you have a great Friday morning here in the UK. And just hope you have a good night wherever else you are. Peace out, guys.